Hello, my friends. Once more, welcome back to Leopard Street. Welcome back to the cellar. In this one, I'm fixing the turntable. Part of the principle of don't leave a problem, solve it, rather than letting it fester. I'm going to fix it. It's not going to be terribly difficult. Conceptually, all I've got to do is remove the tracks, lift it, rotate it a little bit, put it back down, stick the tracks back down. How hard can that be? Yeah, I've said it now, haven't I? Anyway, stick around. We'll have a look. This is Leopard Street. Yeah, so a few little bits before we start. Say hello to Trevor. Trevor, yeah, Kelly spotted this along with one or two others lurking in the last video. Trevor is a Tyrantisaurus. He's from the He-Man Masters of the Universe Battleground game by Archon Studios. He's in the cellar because this is where my airbrush lives and he needed painting. So, yeah, Trevor. Doing quite well, actually, because between filming, there was a load of skeletons down here as well. So on this platform looked like a sort of a refugee from a Ray Harryhausen film. But that's that. Then we come up here. The coaling stage has now got primer on it. Very simple, it's just a red-brown primer and a grey primer. And the water tower has had a little bit more done to it. That has had its bricks painted. That is a base coat of Vallejo Cavalry Brown. The door is, I think, reflective green with a bit of a black wash. The top is Games Workshop's Mechanica Standard Grey with a black wash. There's a lot more painting needs doing on that. I think the windows are Pallid Witch Flesh, I think the colour is. It's another Games Workshop one. But yeah, so I'm going to need to shift that out of the way. Yeah, track rubber and that. So this is the job of the day, fixing this. So I'm going to put you in the mount and we're going to have a look at what I need to do and then we're going to get on with it. Now, as we saw in the last episode, that track position works. That track position works. This one doesn't. Now, I thought, this is what I was thinking, that I had originally had the tracks coming in more up here. It's not actually true. This track is where it was supposed to be. This outer track originally wasn't actually going to connect to the turntable. It was just going to carry on straight, raised up a little bit as part of a coaling stage. Decided not to do that because it would have meant less. This track would have been here. This track would have had to have been further over. It would have meant less space here for something like that to sit sort of there. Well, there. This track raised up. Yeah, so that's why I didn't do that. And it completely slipped my mind when I was setting the turntable up that that's what I'd done. So that's in the dead spot. So what I need to do is I'm going to pull this table up. It's only held in with copy decks, so that is going to be possible. I'm going to take the tracks off. And I'm going to move it so that this track position is here. That's the idea. So what I need to do is make sure that there is connected. And we're going to go around and there is connected. So if we're in that position, we're all right. So that's the first job of the day. And I can do this just with continuity testing. The layout isn't powered up. I love that squeak. Again, these wires have decided to do what wires always do. So, right. So, is it connected there? It should be. It's not bleeping at me. However, I can see on the meter position. I'll put that somewhere you can see it. That goes to 0. That is, there we are. Continuity. Yeah, it isn't on that one. So continuity there, right. Turn that to there. Do I still have continuity? Might be easier to do this. Actually, that work? I'm just trying to find somewhere on here I can get a good contact, which is always a bit of a problem. Yeah, that rail. That rail's a bit easier. That rail's still talking to me. This rail here needs more cleaning by the look of that. Turn it around a little bit further and see if if one contacts, the other does. So, right, that area is fine. So the next one is check over here, which is, if I go a little bit further round, that rail to that rail. Yeah, so that means that bit's going to work. So the first thing I need to do isn't something I need to do, which is brilliant. I thought I needed to unplug all the wiring underneath, but it's already unplugged. So what I need to do now is lift the track. Just move a camera stand out of the way. What I need to do that with is my steel ruler, which is around here somewhere. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, where's that gone? Or failing that, my kitchen knife that lives down here. There's a small kitchen knife somewhere. It's one of those things that's just absolutely infuriating. Entirely my own fault. Down here needs a damn good tidying up. We are going to come on to what's coming up soon in a bit. I just need to find anything that should be down here that I can't. Found the ruler. Excellent. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, back. So this track is just held down with copy decks. So lifting it is a case of sliding something under there and then just gently pushing it backwards. Have to be careful when I get near where the power feed is, because I don't want to rip that out at the bottom of the thing. So I can just slide, see, over here. Literally that. And I can push that all the way to the end. This track doesn't have a huge amount of slack on it, but that's enough. Around here, so I need to do both of these, which is pretty similar. Just slide it back here a little bit. Don't need to go back too far with this. I really just need to move it back far enough I can get at the bit I need to get at, which is here. So that's that. Bend that out of the way. Now, this one here comes all the way back here. And then that. Now, this is Friday. I'm not specifically saying I'll do this as the Saturday video. What I'm doing this as is I waited until Friday because basically I didn't think I was going to have long enough during the rest of the week to do it. Right, they're out of the way. This has to come out. Well, it's got to come up. It doesn't necessarily have to come out. Around here, there's a little notch cut in the board where the sensor is. We'll see that in a sec. So what I need to do is push it up from the underneath. It is coming up slowly. Let's just apply a little bit of force, but gently. And I'm going to press down on the top as I'm doing it. And you might be able to hear that. That is the sound of a rubber glue gently separating from wood. This bit as well. Here we go. As the beauty of copy decks. For this sort of job, I'm just going to. Well, there is another plug under here that connects it. I probably don't need to disconnect that. We shall see. I will need to disconnect that, so I'm going to. And that should now, turn that track a little bit more, get out of the way, should now lift out. I've got to sever some of the remaining bits. Right, and that is going to turn that way. And the reason that matters, if I bring it, let's have a little look here, you can see this notch needs to move around here, so I need to mark out where that's got to be. And I'm going to have to cut it, so I need a pen. Always a good idea to have pens. I like pens. Pens are good. So that's going to go about there. That puts the sensor. Finger is, so I'm going to go with about that. So if I can, need to be able to lift this up. This is the thing with copy decks. It does that. But it is removable. Right. That can come out completely. It's not connected to anything. I do have to... Well, I don't actually have to remove this glue. I'm going to remove bits of it. It doesn't all have to come out. Yeah. But the bits that do, I might as well remove. Right, so I need to cut that. That means finding a saw. I shall be back in a sec. Let's go and find a saw. It was a bit of an adventure. The delight of crawling under the layout. I have had a few other comments which are moderately interesting. I mentioned that I was going to have to put a mirror, well, not a camera of some sort above this. A saw. I'm going to need a file as well. So I've got the file here. Yeah, I do have another file. Might be a bit better for this sort of thing. But never mind. Yeah, I'm going to put a camera above this because I can't see things. Stroke of genius in the comments. I've forgotten the name. I did write it down, but I've forgotten. So I haven't got the bit of paper down with me. Yeah, it said a much simpler solution. Instead of having a camera up here looking down, put a mirror. Let's stick a mirror there. Genius. Stroke of the blindingly obvious, that. Yes, that is an extremely good idea. So what I need to do now is saw this, which is a little bit awkward because it's got to be done vertically. Doesn't need to go in much. That'll do. And then this one as well. Take off the rubbery bits it's been catching on. Remember when at school you put the stuff on your fingers and let it dry and then pretend you were peeling like really badly injured skin off? Or was that just me? It's possible that was just me, isn't it? Anyway, right. So the other thing I need to do is chop this out. So way to do that, I think, is going to be to cut on an angle. Now, obviously, when this circle was cut, I did it with the scroll saw, and I did that with the scroll saw, and then I just went in and lopped it out. But here, I'm doing it with that handsaw. Just, well, it's easier than setting the scroll saw up, basically. This is that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. So there we go. But this, yeah, this job is number one on the list to get the turntable working, because I've only recently put it in, and obviously screwed it up putting it in. Entirely my own fault, obviously. I'm not blaming anybody else for that, apart from possibly a cat. But it might not technically have been Smudge's fault, but frankly, if she had thought about it, it would have been. Anyway, let's cut a bit more of this away. But yeah, I thought I'm going to get this sorted before I go and do anything else. I've been thinking about what to do next. Now, there's a whole list of little jobs that need doing. Obviously, I've got the goods area in the station to build. There's a crossover for the end of that needs to go in. Starting to saw a bit better now. There's a lot more. There we are. That's that. There's a lot more sensors to go in. There's a lot more wiring. There's lots and lots of things. Just excuse the noise briefly. Sort this out. And I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to the lower level. There's some jobs on the lower level that need finishing. I've got some block detection things that need to go in. There's one board that needs it in its entirety. There's one board that needs just some more adding. So I'm going to get them done. Right, mini new. Here we go. Just go one moment. There we go, bit of dust management. Yes, I'm going to finish some of those off. There's going to be more train running, but you're not going to see more track going down in the station for a bit. Right, let me now see if I can get this to fit where it needs to fit, which puts that there this time. That. Is that right, or am I going to have to... need to cut a bit more. Just need to come this way a little bit more. Not a massive job. But yeah, so I've got a few bits to do with that. Somebody's also noted, I've commented several times I will show the software I'm using to drive all of this, and I never do. Yeah, that's coming. That is coming up. I'm going to do that. It's not that it's software that's going to be particularly useful for anybody directly, but it might provide a little bit of inspiration as to some stuff that is possible. And then somebody else can take what I've done and hopefully do something better with it. Because I freely admit the code I've written isn't very good. However, it does work, which is why I'm sticking with it. So yeah, that's coming up. I'm aware the coding videos don't always go down brilliantly. Some people aren't particularly interested with it. It is sort of part of the story of the layout, though, so I am going to do it. And we have that like that. And the other bit of news, obviously, that's come out this week. Yeah, Curascale buying Helgen. I've seen a few people on railway news type channels talking about that. Excuse me 1 second. One thing I did notice today, very quickly actually, 2 emails. One from Rails of Sheffield and one from the Model Centre. So I'm just going to pull some more of this off while I'm talking. Both noting support your local model railway shop, because obviously Helgen is now going to be direct order only from the website, which, yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit mixed about this. I see the point. This is going to provide, there we go, that's that back in. Needs a bit of glue, but no, it fits. It means, lower prices for the consumer. Does it? Does it really? It might do in the short term. Does it in the long term? Probably not. You're not going to get the sort of deep discounting you used to be able to get occasionally. And the one thing the retailers have got, and this is something that I think people don't really realise, even if you're just using them as box shifters, you can go to them. You can, and most will, and most are quite happy to actually. If you ask them to take something out of a box and just have a little look, they will. My recent issues with Bucky the Loud Engine. Yeah, I mean, if I bought that direct from a Curascale, I have no doubt whatsoever I would have no issues sending it back. But it would have been awkward. But perfectly possible, just awkward. Whereas what I actually did was get in a car while I was at a gaming thing, sort of halfway between here and Sheffield. I had a drive to Rails of Sheffield, in Sheffield, funnily enough. Not sure where else I'd have thought they'd have been, but anyway. And I just returned it there. And they processed it that way and they sent me the new one out a few days later. Brilliant. Was really simple to do. That's the sort of thing that gets a little bit harder to do when everything is remote. I mean, as I say, I have no doubt at all a Curascale would have replaced that. I mean, literally zero doubt. I no issues with that whatsoever. It's just I think it would have been slightly more awkward. Right, that track is going to go back to there. Check that still spins. That's good. Yeah. I'm not going to glue it in yet. I've got the other two little plastic bits to fit. So yeah, anyway, Helgen have been on my I'm not buying anything from you list for quite a while. Off the back of internet videos, really. Sam's Trains has done a lot of reviews of them. And just highlighting some of the problems. And yeah, I mean, the video he's put out recently, sort of noting that these things are quite expensive, which is correct. And the quality control hasn't really been there, which is also correct. But it probably... I posted something earlier on... so I'm just looking for some super glue. I have some around here somewhere. Not the container. Never mind, I'll open another one. If I can find another one. I've got more super glue down here. Yeah, I sort of commented there's no such thing as an overpriced, just a bad model. And there's no really such thing as a good model either. What you've got is inappropriately priced models. So if some of the Helgen stuff, I mean the excuse me, the example is basically the Tango and similar with some of the detailing on it's not very good. Sam did the more recent version and found the front pony truck kept falling off and so on and so forth. Those things are problems on a £200 plus locomotive. But on something quite a bit cheaper, you're getting into the point where, well, actually, I'd like it to work without problem. But if I have to, shall we say, do a little bit of fettling, there's a screw loose on the bottom. Maybe I need to keep that screw loose. And what I need to do is get hold of some bits, a little bit of thread lock or something like that for it. This is what I'm doing here. These are these plastic bits you get. I just need 2 more of these. Yeah. You start getting to the point of, well, actually, if I've got to do a little bit of work with it, do I really mind? Yeah, it'd be nice not to have to. I mean, be quite blunt about it here. You expect this stuff to work. But if you've got to do a little bit of fettling with it, is it the end of the world? No. So long as it actually works, no. I don't mind that. Where I object is when it's extremely expensive and it doesn't work. Yeah, then I'm going to have problems. Right, so with these little strips is they go onto here, and the track goes into them. Now, as you can see, I'm super gluing these down. The reason you can use polystyrene cement for this, but the reason I'm using super glue is because I've painted the turntable deck. I painted the upper part of it. It should be in this really light colour, but I've painted it so it's not. So I'm using super glue. You can use polystyrene cement. I mean, it'll work, but what you end up with is you want to what's the word I'm looking for? You need to start scraping plastic off and whatever it was. Because I've done that, that'll work. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to start this side, is I'm going to stick the track back down. And then actually, before I stick the track back down, let me just get the multimeter. And before I can do this, I actually need to remember to plug this back in. There's plug and socket on the bottom from the other video, which we're there. If I plug that in, because if I don't, I'm going to get no continuity. I'm going to get extremely annoyed, and I'm going to wonder why, and then I'm just going to go, oh, and then I'm going to be sad. So anyway, what I want to do is just check this connects. So that rail to that one, nothing. That rail to that one, that connects. Right. This, I've had some real trouble getting the continuity on here. That one to that one, sort of working to that one. Let's turn it around. It works better some ways than the others. There to there. Continuity. Try this again. That one. I mean, if that rail works, this one should work. Gonna work. We did test this a minute ago. It should work. Let's try it over here. Try it this way. Do a little bit of maintenance cleaning on the bits there. All right. Doesn't connect. Connects fine. Connects to that. So if we're going to connect there, that should be fine. That one. This side here. Wires are secure, should be connected. Let's do rail to rail. Rail to rail. Interesting. Nothing. Right. Well, that's glued in now. So what we need to do is just... Which rail is it? The brown wire rail. They're connected there. They're connected there. Just checking the wiring underneath. Yeah, it does seem to be connected. Let's try over here. I haven't glued this one in yet, but I'm going to try it anyway. Spin around this way. I suspect it's just a dodgy contact somewhere, but there we go. That one's fine. That one's not. It's not. That rail is not connected to anything according to that. So come down here. I'm just going to connect directly to the power terminals I've got on the bottom here. Connect to that one. Right, I'm just trying to... Yeah, right, that's where the screw is. So that's that one, I believe. All that. And that one. That's that rail. Into there, should connect to this rail. Isn't doing. And continuity there. I've just got absolutely nothing to the turntable deck. Right. Blue wire's fine, brown wire isn't. So, this one here, which suggests I've got another problem somewhere. Let's just try again. What I'm going to do is find a piece of wire. I'm going to stuff it, if that makes sense. I'm going to push this down when I can strip the thing. Oh yes, had some comments on wire strippers as well. Yeah, I probably do need to really just actually have a little look and get some. This works, but it's a bit awkward. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff that down there, which should go into the spring. I need to take the other end off as well. Do a bit more on this end. That's just an offcut of wire I had lying around. So what I'm going to do is twist that around here. Don't have a clip to connect that to, unfortunately. So that can go there. Is there continuity? I do. So if that goes into there, right, that connects there. So does that connect to the brown terminal down here? Which is, that's blue. I'm doing this by feel. That's the brown terminal. It should be. I'm getting something. Drag on the wire a little. It's proving interesting. All right. 2 pins. Shouldn't connect to that one. Right. That connects down there quite nicely. Shove that into the other side. Right, that's good. You see, what that's telling me is the connection between here and the layout is okay. So, is the issue further down? Just working a bit blind here. I want to make sure I've got this connected correctly. Okay, so try that again with that into there. Turn it this way. Yeah. Right, try this. I'm getting continuity in places, but not other places. Right, so this bit here. Continuity. So I'll move things out of the way. Right, put that back that way. Try over here again. That's working. So if I now put it back here, for some weird reason, this particular piece of track does not want to connect. Connect there. And that's not the dead zone, because the dead zone's nowhere near that big. And it was connected here a minute ago. Connects there. Try that one into there. Right, that bit works. Bring it this way round. Try it. Right, that's lining up that way. That one. Sort this out again. What's the fun of this sort of thing? This should be... Get in there. This should be extremely simple to do. There we are. Yeah, the cutoff is just a little bit past where it needs to go. That's fine, because that means the cutoff goes where it needs to be. So what I've got, there's fine, a little bit past isn't. That's fine, because I don't need to drive a train when it's pointed a little bit past. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to redo this, which shouldn't be a particularly difficult job to do. Put the glue somewhere where it's out of the way. I just need to lift that a little. It won't lift much, basically because I've got, there isn't much slack on the cable. So I'm going to do a bit of glue there. A bit more down here. I'm going to put this back in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this track back in. I'm going to let it dry for a bit. I'm going to go off camera while I let it dry because frankly you don't... this channel's enough of watching paint and glue dry as it is at the best of times. Check that fits there, that does. Put the paint tins. Never mind, I've got some other stuff I can use as weights. I'm going to put that on there. If you're not used to 3D printing, this is what the stuff you 3D print with looks like when you're not 3D printing with it. A little pot of paint on the end. That should hold that while the glue dries. I'm going to do this side here. The inner one first, because the inner one is the easier of the two. Load on there and some blobs down here. That goes into those two little holders. And the thing I need to do, and this I didn't actually get quite right last time, so actually redoing it in some ways works, is the alignment that way. Which wasn't, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't perfect. Right, that needs a weight on it as well. I'm going to just put that there for a minute. I'm now going to do the one behind it. I should really have done the other way round actually for the camera. But oh well, is what it is. Right, I'm going to peel some of this off here. Because some of this that's on here, if it's just going to get in the way, take a bit off because it's on here quite thickly. Yeah, there are many things on this layout that are quite thick. The designer probably being the main one. Let's have a little look. And I've had, I mean, there's been a few comments about me noting that basically I'm making this needlessly complicated. Yes, I am. Absolutely. This is only partly a model railway hobby for me. A lot of what I'm doing here is about the electronics. It's about the control systems. It's about the signalling. That's sort of where a lot of my interest lies. The trains themselves I love, but I'm more interested in how they work and how you make them work. So yeah, that's sort of what's going on here. Right, this one also needs to be lined up properly. It is, and then that can lay on there sideways to hold them in place. Take the pen out from under it. So that one lines up. That one lines up. That one lines up. Right. I'm now going to go let that dry for half an hour or so. I'm going to come back down. and we're going to run some trains. Hopefully. Catch you in a minute. Okay, back. Now, if I said that was a simple process, I'd be fibbing. The turntable deck has come off. I set it up. I did the continue. I mean, you saw I was getting a few slightly ropey results. I tried it with a train, rolled on, stopped dead. What I've ended up doing, I've taken this off. I've thoroughly cleaned the contact ring underneath. I've nudged the rails on the top a little bit. I think the problem was the contact between the spring and the rail. It's sort of okay, but it's a bit susceptible to dirt. So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, we're now ready to run round. Now, I have, over here, Scotsman waiting to be turned on the actual approach track. Now, as I said, there's a little bit of dead track there. Scotsman got over it by running at it at speed, should we say. Yeah, this bit is dead. It's a little bit too long. Ran her backwards quite quickly. She got round it. Bucky, incidentally, who was lurking over there with some coaches, obviously having a stay alive. She's lovely with it. So, yeah. Anyway. Right. That's the table. I'm going to bring Scotsman on, which means I've got to go this way so you get to watch. And I get to shuttle down the end here and see what we're doing. So I need to bring up a throttle because all the stuff I've been doing, I have been doing using Wii Throttle. Another comment I got about why don't you use Wii Throttle? I do. I use it a lot. However, when I'm driving trains, I can't. Or when I'm videoing, I can't. Basically because see how that goes. Because I'm using my phone to film with. So she's on. Now the first thing I want to do is this. Now the one thing you'll notice is this isn't squeaking as much. The wheel that was causing the squeaking has had some attention, shall we say. Basically, I knocked the pin out, I took the wheel out, and I've removed the friction. I'm just going to make sure that she runs and does actually fit in that siding. I've measured it, so she should be all right. But this is how we test. So, ta-da! Fits. It's close, but fits. So yeah, I'll bring her forward again. I do need to put something at this side. There's going to be a little stub of track and some buffers here. Just because. Yeah. I'm going to put that back because it looks quite nice. Yeah. Right. So, locomotive forwards. Slow speed. And for all this Flying Scotsman being the railroad version, she's a lovely runner. I don't think I've had a single problem since I got her and put the chip in. And she ran fine on DCC before I put the chip in. It is nice that not squealing quite so much. So that's there. Nice manual operation. And we shall now bring her off. And if this works, I'm happy. So, yeah. So we carry on in reverse. Whee. And she hit the coaling stage and derailed. Never mind. Anyway. Right, so this now works. Yes, the motor still needs sorting out, rather the driving circuit needs sorting out. The parts haven't turned up for that yet. That's going to happen at some point in the not too distant future. But until then, this is in. That's not stuck properly, which doesn't help. Yeah. So I'm going to have to just put a little bit more. This one here hasn't stuck down right, so I'm just going to have to put a dab more glue under it and then sort it out. Oh, get under there. This, incidentally, isn't the only bit of track I've had to re-glue. Yeah, just one of those things. Right, that can stay there. I'm going to put that on top of that because I'm not using that siding anymore. This one had to come out again as well. There was too much of the old Copydex underneath it and it wasn't sitting square, so I just lifted it, cleaned the Copydex off and put it back down again. But that's it for this video. I now have a working turntable. Yes, I've got to turn it manually. No, I don't care about that. I'm quite happy with that. The station as such is now operational. I can run trains in, I can turn them, I can send them back out again. We'll see in the next video the plan for the future, because I think this video is now quite long enough. So with that, I will say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.